Good day, everyone. I am Romel Carlo Valdivieso and I will be reporting Behaviorism and Classroom Management Behaviorist Learning Theories by Pavlov and Skinner. Since we were done classroom management last meeting, now we deepen our understanding on behaviorism. These learning theories emphasizes that students' behavior can be shaped and modified by conditioning and reinforcement. In other words, as teachers, we guide students' behavior by managing the classroom environment and applying rewards or consequences effectively. This theory became very influential in education because it shows us how teachers can manage classrooms, encourage good behavior, and discourage unwanted actions. Like, for example, a teacher may encourage oral participation by giving praise or small rewards whenever students share their ideas during the class discussion. Over time, even the quieter students starts to speak up more often because they are reinforced for contributing. On the other hand, if students interrupt or speak without raising their hands, the teacher can withhold the reward or remind them of the rules. This way, behaviorism helps the teacher manage oral participation by reinforcing the desired behavior and discouraging disruptions. John Watson, known as the father of behaviorism, believed that human behavior could be explained and controlled by learning. To prove this, he conducted the famous Little Albert experiment. I know you are all familiar with this, and to those who forgot, I will refreshen you all about it. In this experiment, he exposed a baby named Albert to a white rat. At first, Albert was not afraid, but when Watson paired the rat with a loud, scary noise, Albert eventually became afraid of the rat even without the noise. Later, Albert also became afraid of other furry objects like rabbits. So meaning, like in this experiment showed how emotional response like fear could be learned by through association. Like for example, a teacher noticed that some students are not participating in oral recitation because they fear making mistakes. So if a teacher criticizes or scolds a student even time their answer incorrectly, the student will start to associate speaking in class with embarrassment or fear. Over time, the student develops fear or anxiety whenever they are asked to recite, even if the teacher doesn't scold them anymore. So better approach, instead the teacher can reverse the conditioning by praising efforts, giving positive reinforcement, and creating a safe environment. This helps students associate recitation with positive feelings like confidence and encouragement. In short, Watson experiment student can learn to fear or enjoy participation depending on how teachers respond. Connectionism. Edward Thorndike introduced connectionism and the law of effect. Behaviors followed by satisfying results are more likely to be repeated, while those following by discomfort are less likely. For example, when a student receives immediate praise for a correctly solved problem, they are more likely to try similar problem again. On the other hand, incorrect methods followed by corrective feedback reduce those mistakes in a future attempt. For example, a positive outcome example. A student submits homework on time. The teacher praises them and give a participation points. Because the consequences is satisfying, the student is more likely to keep submitting homework on time. Negative outcome example. A student interrupts the class without raising their hands. The teacher deducts participation points or giving a warning. Because the consequence is unpleasant, the student is less likely to interrupt again. Okay, let's proceed. Classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. In classical conditioning, learning happens when a neutral stimulus is repeatedly paired with something that naturally triggers a response. Like, for example, he demonstrate the dog with the bell. Remember that theory that if the sound of a bell when paired with food eventually made the dog salivate even without food. In classroom, teachers can use classical conditioning by pairing learning with positive experiences. For example, if a teacher always smiles and praises students when starting math class, students will eventually associate math with encouragement and positivity. Another example, a teacher consistently rewards students who raise their hands before talking by acknowledging them first. Over time, students associate the act of raising their hands with recognition and positive feelings, so the behavior became automatic. So if bibigyan natin silang positive aura tsaka encouragement, they will they will gain their self-confidence to do more or to answer more questions. So we have here the key elements of classical conditioning: the UCS or unconditioned stimulus, UCR or unconditioned response, CS or conditioned stimulus, and CR or conditioned response. Unconditioned stimulus, a stimulus that naturally produces an automatic response. For example, teacher gives praise. Okay, unconditioned response, the automatic reflexive response to the UCS or the unconditioned stimulus. For example, student feels happy and motivated. Conditioned stimulus, a natural stimulus that through repeated association with the UCS or unconditioned stimulus comes to trigger a similar response. For example, is raising a hand to answer a question. CR or conditioned response, the learned response produced by the CS or conditioned stimulus after its association with the UCS or unconditioned stimulus. For example, student feels motivated and confident when raising their hand, expecting positive reinforcement. So meaning, if teacher give praises, students feel happy and motivated. More often, they will raising a hand to answer a question. So they feel motivated and confident when raising their hand, expecting a positive reinforcement. Okay, let's proceed to key processes in classical conditioning distinguished by Pavlov. So accusation, the process where an organism learns to associate two events. Like for example, teacher consistently praises students who raise their hands to participate. Over time, students learn that raising a hand is linked with positive feeling. Extinction, the gradual decrease in the strength of rate of a CR when the UCS is no longer presented. For example, if the teacher stops giving praises when students raise their hands, eventually student may stop participating because the association weakens. Spontaneous recovery, the reappearance of a CR when the CS is represented after a rest period of the following extinction. After extinction, the teacher praises again when someone raised their hand. Some students quickly return to the old behavior of active participation. Stimulus generalization, which is the tendency for another stimulus to produce a response that too similar to the CR. The greater the similarity between the stimuli, the greater the responsibility that our generalization will occur. For example, students who are praised for hand raising in math may start volunteering more in science or reading class too. The positive association spreads to similar contexts. Stimulus discrimination. Stimulus discrimination occurs when a person or animal responds to the CS only but not to any other stimulus. That is similar to CS. Meaning, students learn that praise only comes when they raising their hand properly, not when they called out answers without permission. They discriminate between acceptable and unacceptable ways of participating. Okay, to sum it up, classical conditioning is important because it helps us, teachers, and individuals understand, predict, and influence behavior, making it a powerful tool for education, emotional control, and personal growth. Next is operant conditioning, introduced by B.F. Skinner. This focuses on the consequences of behavior, meaning behavior can be strengthened through reinforcement or weakened through punishment. We have two types of reinforcement, the positive and the negative. Positive by adding something positive to increase our response. Okay, for example, praising a student for answering correctly, giving stickers or perfect homework, or awarding stars for good behavior. On the other hand, negative reinforcement, taking or removing something negative to increase our response. Sometimes we say that negative is bad, but in this, negative can be good sometimes. For example, allowing students to skip a practice quiz if they have shown mastery in lessons, removing a chore or extra task when they behave well. Danas na to ng mga teacher kasi ginagamit ito minsan kung maingay ang klase or hindi nakikinig ang mga estudyante. Okay, punishment. Positive punishment. Adding a negative consequence after an undesired behavior to decrease future response. Okay, relate tayong lahat ito kasi nagbibigay tayo ng additional seat work doon sa mga maiingay or malilikot na mga estudyante. Negative punishment, taking away or removing a desired item after an undesired behavior to decrease future responses. Like for example, taking away free time or group activity if students are noisy. For instance, if a teacher praises students who participate in discussions, more students will be encouraged to join in. On the other hand, if a student is consistently disruptive and loses the privilege of recess play, they are less likely to repeat the behavior. Operant conditioning is important because it helps us learn through rewards and consequences. It teaches that good behavior increases when rewarded and decreases when punished. Teachers use it to encourage participation and discipline, while in daily lives, it helps us build good habits. Overall, it helps shape positive behavior and supports effective learning. To conclude, behaviorism teaches us that learning is not only about knowledge but also about behavior. As teachers, we can use classical conditioning to create positive associations with learnings, and operant conditioning to manage behavior using reinforcement and punishment. When applied effectively, these strategies help create a positive, construct, and motivating classroom environment where students can thrive. That's the end of my report. Thank you. That's the end of my report. Thank you.